I just trained AI to build like me, and the results are surprisingly great. So let's head over to Customize, and we'll click Skills here in Claude. We'll hit the plus sign, and we'll click Upload a skill. I'll leave the skill in the description below. We can just drag that file in. And here it's just adding this. I've called it my Lumos skill. You can call it whatever you'd like. And then we can start using it. So I'm going to upload a screenshot of this section here from Stripe, and I'll just tell it to build this using the Lumos skill. And so building these skills is a lot like training an employee. We're telling it why to do certain things, what to avoid. We're testing it in a bunch of different situations and gathering feedback to improve it. And we're also trying to keep our instructions as concise and clear as possible. So here it's reading the Lumos skill. It also reads a front end skill that's just built into Claude by default, and it's using those to build out our section. So we'll notice the design is pretty ugly here, and that's because it's using classes and variables that only exist inside the Webflow project. So I'll just copy this and I'll go ahead and paste it into the HTML to Webflow tool from modin.club. I'll click convert and then I'll paste it here into Webflow. And so here we'll notice things like this. Grid here is using the responsive variables so that it's just automatically responsive and doesn't require a custom code embed. We'll notice things like this logo here. Because it's actually a logo, the AI is trained to set this to object fit contain so the logo doesn't get cropped. And we'll notice that instead of setting a height here, it used an aspect ratio so that once the max width kicks in, the width scales down as well as the height together. And we'll notice things like this image here, because it's not a transparent image or a PNG, that it actually has a background color applied. So before the image is loaded, we can actually see that there's supposed to be something there. And that's just using our background skeleton. So all that's the AI is just trained to use all of that. And we'll notice that it didn't have to write any custom CSS to make all this layout. So it's just using all the native responsiveness, things from Flexbox and our gaps and just everything here to make this responsive. Now, what we might want to do is make some edits here. So what I'll say is we'll say animate the arrow on hover, and we'll also say use container queries instead of responsive variables. So it's trained to use the responsive variables as much as possible unless it gets to a super complex layout that requires container queries. But we can override what the skill is trained to do by just giving it more specific instructions. So here it's saying the skill says not to mix them. So it's going to switch completely to container queries since that's what I'm asking it to do. And it should be able to just use the trigger and state system for the arrow hover instead of having to write custom code for that. So we'll see what it does there. But we'll notice even things down to like this little path inside the SVG, that here is set to be our border width variable for the stroke width, and it's set to use the right color and stuff so that if we have multiple of these components later throughout the site and we decide to change something about that path because it's attached to the class, instead of the attributes here, any change we make will update all of them. So that's just all baked into the skill. Things like this actions here is to hold multiple buttons together, and it's the button wrapper utility so that it gets the default gap. And there can still be custom overrides, like there's a overridden margin top on this class that overrides the margin we'd usually have from the button wrapper. So there can be more specific changes made, but those utilities are just helpful starting points. Like on this title, it added a margin bottom variable there for this heading, and that's overlapping the margin top on the button wrapper. And then this entire parent div looks like it didn't add a margin trim, but it often does add that to just cut off the unneeded margins from that. So we basically have a very responsive layout already, and let's try it with these edits that I just made. So what I'm going to do is refresh this. I'm going to paste in the brand new code it gave us to convert, and I'm going to go ahead and undo the changes I made here. So I'm going to bring it back to before I imported this, so that way I don't get duplicated classes. And then I'll just paste in the layout again. So now we'll notice that when I hover this, the arrow inside is actually moving. And if we check this out, it's using our trigger and state system. So if I wanted the arrow to move more, I could just adjust it right here from the style panel instead of having to dig into some custom CSS and find out where that's set. And if I want to override it across like a variant of the component because it's all handled here instead of custom code. It just makes it a lot more flexible. So that helps us a lot. Now, if we check out the CSS, it actually moved all of the responsiveness over to container queries instead of using the responsive variables that it was using previously. So we'll notice things like this here. Now it's actually just showing the grid with the gaps on that grid instead of the actual responsive variables for that. So we'll notice that is set up for us. So we can make it, have it make some very specific tweaks to the layout. Now, if your spacing variables do have the pixel value here in the variable name, we need to be sure to delete that. So when AI adds in the variable name, it actually matches our variables here in Webflow. So now I'll try just not giving it a design. So I'll say using the Lumo skill, build an auto playing tab component that triggers on hover and switches a related image on the side. So let's just see what it comes back with for that one. So let's copy it and we'll go ahead and paste it in and convert it. And we'll bring it over to Webflow. So here we have this kind of sticky image here. If we go ahead and preview, we'll notice that we have this auto playing tab component where we can hover to switch. And if we head over to a different breakpoint, we'll notice that everything's just wrapping nicely there and the sticky is removed from that image there. If we head over to like our custom code, like our JavaScript, we'll notice it's following all the Lumos conventions. So it's inside a DOM content loaded. It's got this loop. And in case the same embed is included multiple times on one page, it has this little check working for us. So all that is looking great. And we'll notice that for this element here, it's going to be position sticky by default, and it'll switch to position relative on the medium screen size. And then if we take a look at this offset here, it's going to be offset from the top by our nav height so that when we have a nav, it doesn't go under it, plus an additional space 4, it looked like. So that is looking good there. And that's only going to be applied to our large screen size. So that gives it just the right amount of top offset that we want right here. If we were to tell it, like if we had content in here and we wanted a max height and an overflow scroll, it could connect all that up to our variables as well. It's trained to be able to do all of that. And we'll notice things like these colors, even on the icons. So we have like what its color should be by default, and then what its color switches over to whenever it becomes active, set right here. So we can control all that nicely from the style panel. And all of that is good to go. So that's pretty much just built out a really nice responsive tab component for us. And that's an overview of how to use a skill like this. Now, at any point, if there's certain things you want to adjust specific to your build, all you need to do is head over to customize, head over to skills, and on the Lumos skill here, you can actually edit in line if you want to just edit it directly, or you can edit with Claude and just tell Claude what you want to update about it. So I'll probably be updating the skill from time to time as I find little things that I want it to improve. But overall, it's in a really good place, and I've really been enjoying using it so far. So hopefully this helps you out in your projects as well.